Now think about it this way. When you're trading a $10,000 account, let's say for example, you're risking 1% on each trade, then each loss is around $100. And each win, let's say you have an average risk to reward of 1 to 2, is about $200. At that level of pain and pleasure in the mind, it's easy to stick to your trading plan. You're not necessarily going to be deterred by a $100 loss or fearful of that necessarily, and you're not going to be seeking after and deviating from your plan for a $200 win necessarily. But then the issue is when you scale up to $100,000, now the new pain is $1,000, still 1% of $100,000. And the new pleasure is now $2,000 at a reward to risk of 2 to 1. So you've got a greater degree of pain and a greater degree of pleasure. At that level, you still may be able to use willpower and that form of discipline to stick to your plan. You may not be deterred from your plan at that level, but you might start to see cracks and you might start to, at times, have a little bit of a fear of experiencing that loss and a desire for that reward, because you can contextualize it and see that, all right, this potential win, may make me or may help me pay down some bills or some debts. And in that state, you may be pulled away from your trading plan to impulsively seek after that win, and you may lapse in discipline in a moment. Or you may have a fear of experiencing that $1,000 loss, and you may have a lapse of discipline. But for the most part, you can use willpower to bring yourself back to your trading plan. But now, when you're trading $1 million or even $250,000, now the loss is $10,000. And the potential reward is $20,000. You have to ask yourself the question, can you use the same discipline and willpower that you were using down here, up here? And you have to ask yourself the question, are the processes you've established and the systems you have in place for your discipline, are they scalable? And are you able to do what you're doing here on this higher level here? And the truth is, this idea of just try harder and have more discipline really falls out the window when you start scaling up to greater degrees of capital. And there's not one trader that I speak to that doesn't want to scale, that doesn't want to make more money trading, that doesn't want to be trading higher levels of capital. Because every trader has this desire to continue to grow and to make more money and be rewarded to greater degrees for the work they've put in. So don't stand in your own way by expecting yourself to just rely on willpower or discipline to stick to your plan when you're at these higher degrees of capital. You need to start developing these processes and systems that the elite traders have in order to have the infrastructure around you to ensure that you can scale to those levels and still be disciplined in sticking to your trading plan. Why it is as traders, when we have such a clear trading plan, such a clear objective, we ourselves can still act reactively in the markets, and we can act like animals at times, seeking after these wins impulsively and trying to avoid these painful losses instinctively, and having these reactions that we label undisciplined. And to understand this, we have to take ourselves back thousands of years ago and understand the anthropological development of our brain and why it is we react the way we do. Thousands of years ago, our ancestors in the wild had to have a mechanism that allowed them to, if they saw a particular prey, food for that night, because of this fear of starvation, this fear of death, they had to have a certain mechanism that when they saw this prey in the wild, they would exaggerate how good that prey is and have a reaction in the body of a release of adrenaline and cortisol to get our ancestors primed into a certain state where they were actually able to capture after that prey. And so too, if those same ancestors saw a threat, a perceived predator, they needed to have the same mechanism that kick-fired the sympathetic fight or flight response so that they could either fight or flight the predator. So thousands of years ago, our ancestors relied on this subcortical survival reaction of the amygdala to be able to capture after their food, prey, or avoid predator as a way to keep themselves alive. Otherwise, they would have either starvation or they would be eaten. Thousands of years ago, this mechanism was essential, but now as societies developed and these basic needs of survival and food for the most part, for most societies is taken care of, then the brain had the opportunity to develop new layers on top of those same subcortical reactions and survival mechanisms, namely the prefrontal cortex here, But the brain doesn't get rid of these old layers, it just builds new layers on top. So this subcortical reaction of the amygdala, survival reaction, is still hardwired within every single trader. And now the issue is when we come to the market and we perceive a potential reward or a potential loss in the market, the brain can't tell the difference between a trading loss or a trading win and food, prey, or predator, that same mechanism I described. And the brain's going to treat a trading loss the same way it would a life-threatening predator in front of it. And it's going to treat a trading win the same as it would a prey in front of it. And the subcortical amygdala, what it's going to do when it perceives a potential reward, a potential win in the market, a potential, amount of profit coming in as prey, and it's going to have that same subcortical cortisol reaction to prime the body to impulsively capture after that. And that's why FOMO is there, and that's why the fear of missing out is there to drive you into capturing after that prey, so the brain thinks it's protecting you from starvation. And if there's a predator there, then the brain needs to have that same reaction, that fight or flight response, and you feel it in the body when you experience a loss. You get red hot, you feel your body fire up in anger. That is all the survival mechanism, the brain's attempt to keep you alive. So to understand this on a deep level, understand the anthropological development of the brain and why the survival mechanism's there is very important, because then it gives you the power to be able to manage these responses once you understand them. So the thing elite traders understand that retail traders don't is this survival mechanism. The elite traders understand that something has to be done to be able to manage the amygdala's response and to dampen the amygdala's response and put the prefrontal cortex in charge so that you can be making executive decisions that align with your plan in that moment, as opposed to reacting like an animal in the moment of trades. Now, the thing is, when it comes to scaling, like I mentioned before, when you go from 10,000, you may not feel those reactions much, but then you go to 100,000, now there's a greater perceived prey, a greater perceived reward, and therefore also a greater perceived threat. So the amygdala starts to get fired up more, because a win now means you could pay down some debts. And the loss means moving further into debt. So there's a greater prey, there's a greater predator. Now you go to $1 million, and a win there can pay down all your debts, buy you a new car, buy you a watch, and a loss means not getting all those things. So it's even greater prey and predator. So the thing elite traders understand, that if you want any chance of scaling and consistently being able to manage larger degrees of money, the trader needs to be able to manage the amygdala's response. Now there are ways to do this, and there are multiple different ways to be able to dampen the amygdala's reaction in that moment and to put the prefrontal cortex in charge. I'm going to share a couple with you. When I work with a trader one-on-one and they come into my inner circle coaching program, my whole focus with them when I work with them is working through the specific moments of reaction to help them manage the amygdala's response and put the prefrontal cortex in charge. So we can literally help them achieve a neuroplastic brain change of how they react in the face of losses and in the face of wins as well. Because both your losses and your wins kickfire that amygdala's response and make you reactive and take away from your discipline. And really what traders are saying when they're saying I'm undisciplined is it's their amygdala in control, trying to get away from a pain and seek after a pleasure. That's all it is. So when you dampen those reactions, you then are more poised as a trader, you're more present, and you're able to make decisions out of the prefrontal cortex as opposed to reacting like an animal in that moment. So when I take on a trader and I work with them, firstly, I try and pass on this understanding. You have to understand why you're doing what you're doing. It's not a bad thing. It's not something to judge or to label, although there may be financial consequences from it. What's important to do is to understand without judgment the survival reaction of the brain and why you're doing what you're doing. Really, it's just your brain trying to keep you alive, trying to keep you in survival. But then it's about now neuroplastically rewiring these reactions. And the first place I start with these traders is I help them go back to these so-called painful losses in the past, these losses that they experienced that they were extremely pained by. And they have a lot of negative associations to those losses. And I help them go back to their earliest moments, the most painful moments, and we go back to those moments, get present in those moments where they actually perceive the loss in the first person and they perceived a drawback, a pain, a challenge in that moment, something to avoid, a predator in that moment. And I ask him in those moments, what was the benefit in that moment? You see, when the survival response sees a predator, what it does is it labels that event bad and it goes in to dramatize and exaggerate and accentuate how bad that event is to stimulate and kickstart that survival reaction, the fight or flight response. The brain over millennia has been developed to react that way. This is bad, let's make it worse to kickstart that fight or flight response. So what I do is I help traders go back to those moments and see that what's actually happening through confirmation bias and disconfirmation bias is your brain is blocking out all this information to make this event worse. It has confirmation bias to support only and let in information only that is confirming this is a bad event and blocking out through disconfirmation bias any benefits. So I get them to go back to the moment of a painful loss and I ask them, what's the benefit in that moment of the painful loss? And I help them to start reassociating the advantages to losing. Sounds crazy, but really losing is our label we put on it. Really, what is it? It's price hitting your entry and then hitting your stop loss. That's what the event is. And we are the ones that interpret that as a loss and bad because we're addicted to winning and we're attached to winning. So I ask them, what's the benefit of having price hit your entry and then hit your stop loss? And I help them go back to those moments and see that in those moments, what it is, it's a reminder of firstly, risk in the market. It's a reminder of the importance of my trading processes and my trading plan and the adherence to that. And it's a humbling of this overconfidence and self-aggrandizing of thinking that I can take anything I want from the market. And the losses humble the trader, make them more process-based, make him listen to the market, make him respect risk in the market, make him take less setups, but higher quality setups. So the losses are humbling experiences in that moment. And I help them go back to multiple different moments of loss and in those contexts, see and reveal the other side of the information that's always been there, but it's been blocked out with the survival mechanism. And I help them see the other side of losing. So now when we go back to enough moments, in their mind, losing has both advantage and disadvantage now. And they're less reactive to that, less fearful of that, less trying to avoid that. And I do the same thing with winning. We go back to their most pleasurable wins that they're attached to, and the more attached they are to winning and build up winning in their mind, then the more they're going to be resentful to losing when it inevitably happens, and they're going to try and seek after the unattainable, which is winning all the time, and try and avoid losing, which is unavoidable at times, and that's what keeps traders stuck. So we go back to their pleasurable wins and ask them in those moments, what are the drawbacks of those wins in those moments? And help them associate some pain and drawback and risk to winning the individual trade, not trying to make things up or justify things, just looking at what the survival mechanism is blocking out. And I help them see there are drawbacks and pains to winning. When they win in those moments, there is a certain self-aggrandizing pride and pressure they put on themselves to replicate that, and they become attached to the individual win. They puff themselves up in pride and overconfidence. They minimize risk in the market. They leave themselves vulnerable through taking low quality setups in the market now because they're not respecting risk in the market. They're not respecting their plan. So I go back to as many of these moments to help traders see that the original ideas of winning and losing that they held because of their survival reaction aren't completely true. There are both advantages and disadvantages to losing, or really price hitting your entry and hitting your stop loss. They no longer label it as losing it anymore. Because part of your edge, you're going to win and lose. And both the losses and the wins are both expressions and repressions of your edge that eventually average out to give you a true return. And you're only pained by losing because you're attached to the high of the win. And you're comparing that loss to a pleasurable win. But when you really broaden the perspective, you see that both are necessary in your edge. So I help traders embrace both sides of their edge, both the winning and the losing, and use them as feedback mechanisms to get them back to process-based thinking. And when they see that, they're no longer reactive to the loss, trying to avoid it, fearful of it, or reactive to the win, impulsively trying to seek it. And what happens is the amygdala calms down. because the amygdala doesn't perceive threat anymore. It doesn't perceive prey anymore. It sees both sides of the event and it's no longer reactive. And when that's the case, the prefrontal cortex, the executive part of your brain, is more in charge. And you feel more poised and calm in the market. You can make more objective decisions as opposed to reacting. And then I help these traders see that at every time they had a very painful loss in the markets, I help them see what their expectations are leading up to that trade, of what they're hoping they're going to get from that trade and what they're wanting from that trade. And I help them see that at every moment they have a painful loss, what it is, it's really just humbling this expectation and this pleasure they had in their mind of what they thought the market was going to give to them. And I help then traders master their pre-trade expectations and get very good at grounding and identifying their expectations before they trade, so that they have balanced, realistic expectations going into trades, realizing that this trade could be a win or a loss. And when you truly embody that expectation, you're not reactive after the trade. You're only reactive when you're attached to a one-sided expectation of that individual trade being a win and when the market doesn't meet your expectations. So I help these traders both address the ideas of winning and losing and then their expectations beforehand, and just ground these ideas so that they're more process-based going into trades. And it's work, it's meticulous work, but then what these traders find is that they're incredibly disciplined because they're not trying to avoid the unavoidable or seek after the unattainable. They're present with the market, they listen to the market. When the market presents an opportunity, they execute. They're not going off thinking they're going to get a pleasure without a pain, impulsively trading. They've grounded that idea. And then when they scale to the next level, they're realizing they're not getting support without challenge. They have both, so they're not reactive on that next level as well. And then when they go to the next level, again, same thing. They're not realizing they're getting a pleasure without a pain or a drawback without a benefit. They see both sides and they're non-reactive. So it's only when you embrace both sides of the market truly, deeply, can you start to scale through the levels. The more you try and split the outcomes of the market, seeking after winning all the time, which is unattainable, and trying to avoid losing all the time, which is unavoidable, that's where you go off seeking, thinking you're getting a pleasure, and then you get smacked by the other side of the market, which is the pain. And that's why traders can't sustain higher levels of scaling when they have unrealistic expectations. But when you integrate both of them, you can embrace both sides of the market in pursuit of your edge, and you can do that at ever greater levels of scale, of capital. So traders, to start this process of embodying this level of thinking and gaining that unfair advantage in the markets and having these high degrees of discipline, what I encourage you to do is to download and use my free training and tool, which is called the Bulletproof Your Trading Mindset 3.0 training and tool. It's linked in the description, the first comment, or on your screen here. You can scan the QR code. And I would encourage you that as a first step in understanding and having an awareness of what's going on in your mind when you're trading, and then managing that. And then if you're ready for the next step, I encourage you to look into working with a performance coach like myself and looking into one-on-one work. And what that allows us to do is to go in there and address the specific challenges for you and your circumstance and your psychology, so that it can be the specifics in your mind can be grounded and you can get into that poised and present state. So those are my suggestions on the next steps to help ensure that you're actually implementing what I'm sharing in these videos and you're able to get the actual brain change that you need to be a disciplined trader. Traders, if you found this video useful, please consider subscribing and liking the video. If you have any questions or any particular challenges you just can't seem to break through, comment them below and I'll respond. And before you click away, what I want you to do is watch this video that's going to pop up on your screen next. Traders, thank you for watching to the end, and I'll see you all in the next video.